The over $10 billion James Bond franchise is reportedly ditching Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Henry Cavill may still be in the race for that lead role. I'm Troy from Arcs on Movies, and today we're talking about the former Kick-Ass not getting the 007 role, but the former Man of Steel may get that license to kill after all. Before we begin, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell to be notified whenever we post brand new videos. Now on with the story. The link to the article I'm covering from fandomwire.com is linked in the video description. If there is one role in the history of cinema that has proved to be the springboard for an actor's career in the Hollywood industry, it is the role of James Bond in the 007 franchise. Home to many legendary stars like Kevin Conroy, Pierce Brosnan, and Daniel Craig, to name a few from that long list, the role of the MI6 super spy is a highly sought-after part for many stars in the industry. And since the departure of Daniel Craig from the role in 2021's No Time to Die, there has been a race to find a new face for the role of Agent 007. There have been many names that were talked about, but it was Aaron Taylor Johnson that was the prominent talk of the town. But recently, there have been rumors that suggest that even he is being taken out of the picture, which makes Henry Cavill the most likely candidate for the next Bond. Henry Cavill might become the next James Bond after all. After the events of No Time to Die, Daniel Craig took his leave from playing the role of Agent 007, which left an empty space for another talented actor to fill in as the new face of the franchise. Thus, there were speculations as well as reports of a lot of potential candidates, which was led by none other than the former Superman star, Henry Cavill. But soon enough, the name was substituted by Bullet Train star Aaron Taylor Johnson. But with recent reports coming from the host of the Hot Mic podcast, Jeff Snyder, it seems like Eon Productions have decided that the actor is not the right fit for the job. In a recent episode, John Roca and Snyder were discussing all of the things that had come up in the last week when Snyder told about an inside scoop that he got, which hinted that ATJ was out of the 007 race. He said, "Here's the one thing I heard today that was interesting. Less of a scoop other than just a ray of hope, maybe. I've heard that Aaron Taylor Johnson's not a lock for Bond. I don't think it's right for him. It's not that I don't think he'd make a good Bond, but I don't know if he needs it." End quote. Thus, many fans, as well as the public, believe that Cavill might just take home the role with all the support as well as the qualities of the MI6 agent that he has. Who will become the next Bond? After Daniel Craig left the franchise, everyone was wondering who could replace the new age James Bond that Craig brought to the table with his post-war era super spy. Apart from new gadgets and tech, Craig brought a version of the Agent 007 that had sentimental values with him rather than a stone-cold agent from the 1960s. While Cavill might elevate that role even further, it'll be a tough decision as the company really will have to think about the characteristics of the Bond that they want to portray next. Look, anyone who claims that they didn't enjoy Skyfall is either lying, blind, or just they don't like spy movies. That was not just an amazing Bond movie, but an amazing film as a whole. Casino Royale was pretty good, Quantum of Solace was boring, Spectre was pretty decent. I absolutely hated No Time to Die for many reasons, but I'm basically saying all this just to say that while I liked Daniel Craig as Bond, his run wasn't groundbreakingly amazing. It was pretty good, not great. He was not only the blonde Bond, bringing a new look to the character, but he was the in my feels Bond. He was more emotional, brooding, and he cried a lot. I'm sorry, but that is not James Bond, and that's not really what I want from James Bond. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the actor can't, act or emote ever, but James Bond shouldn't be so damn emotional. Ever. Plus, I felt like some of the stories were too far up their own asses, for lack of a better term. It's no surprise that Phoebe Waller-Bridge was brought in to co-screenwrite for No Time to Die, because the studio was hoping to
update Bond for a modern audience.
That doesn't need to be done, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge doesn't need to be anywhere near this franchise or the Indiana Jones franchise to
soften Indiana Jones up.
Or whatever. To hell with all of that. James Bond is supposed to be the epitome of ultra-manliness. It's kind of his one thing. He's a big-time British spy, a ladies' man, suave and debonair, and doesn't get too overly emotional. Period. Do I think that Henry Cavill would make an amazing Bond? Absolutely. He'd be perfect. He's already been in spy movies. He's going to be in more spy movies. He knows what he's doing. But do I think that the studio will let Henry Cavill be the best 007 he could be? That remains to be seen. That updated role was right up Daniel Craig's alley, so he fit in with it. Henry Cavill has spent the last few years of his life getting jerked around on The Witcher and in the DC Extended Universe, so while I'm sure that Cavill would love to play Bond, I'm not sure that he'd want to be a beaten-down, modernized version of Bond where he needs to be
put in his place
and
deconstructed.
But I guess we'll see. It's still all very much up in the air. Comment down below with what you think of this James Bond situation. Are you upset that Aaron Taylor Johnson may be out of the running? Would you support Henry Cavill taking the role of the next Agent 007? Did you like Daniel Craig's run as Bond? What was your favorite Bond movie? And what was your favorite James Bond of all time? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comments. Also, share this video around to everyone you know, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click that little bell to be notified every time we post brand new content. I've been Troy from Marks on Movies, and we'll see you next time.